Unmuted.
All right, Miss Anne Marie, do you have anything for head coach Bill Lambier today?
Always. That was a big groan as Bill sat down. Took a lot of effort. Bill, what has been the focus in practice these last 2 weeks?
What do you mean 2 weeks? No one, we haven't had any practice for 2 weeks.
Some
We
of the
probably
players
had
have not.
our first time we walked on the floor was probably the 5th. Right around that, I think the 5th. So we've only been out here for like 7-8 days.
Everybody, you didn't have the other players there. The non-Olympians weren't there.
Our first time we all walked on the court together was, Jiggy can probably back that one up. Came in on the 2nd, 4 tested on the 3rd and the 4th. 5th was the first practice.
Okay, what has been the What has been the focus the last 7 days?
Getting back to basics, a lot of breakdown drills, conditioning, getting some conditioning because everybody's in terrible condition. So those are probably the 2 biggest ones, was defensive and offensive breakdowns, try to get back to basketball knowledge and basketball, how to do things the right way, because we only had 6 players. And then we had 7 players, and then we had 8 players, and now we have 10 players. So it's hard to get any kind of going up and down, but I think conditioning also of doing some sprint drills and things like that also was a focus.
Versus the Mystics, with a roster that has players coming back from injury, kind of what are a couple of keys that we should be looking for in that matchup twice this week?
Well, they're probably the same team we played early in the season from a personnel perspective before they got hurt and before they had any other issues. It was a tough game at their place. Tina's going to be Tina. Heinz Allen hurt us a little bit. Atkins hurt us a little bit in that game. We didn't really have a solid defensive effort, but we won the game. So I think we know who they are. We know what's coming at us. It's a matter of going out there now and executing our game plan versus their game plan.
And what conversations have you had with all of your Olympians about managing fatigue, time change? We certainly saw from Seattle in the Commissioner's Cup that it didn't seem to affect them too much, jet lag.
I don't think there's anything about the travel of the Olympians. The 3-on-3 people came back way early.
They did.
So they're well acclimated, and Asia and Chelsea been back for 5 days, somewhere right around there, four for sure, 5 days. So they should be on our normal scheduled timetable. So I don't see any fatigue is not an issue for any of them.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay.
Sam?
Hey, Bill, I know earlier in the year there was some talk of possibly bringing Ileana over after the Olympics. Is that still a possibility, or do you know what you're going to do with that last roster spot?
No, that's not a possibility. We don't have any money. At the end of the day, we have enough money to sign a player on the last day of the season, which makes them playoff eligible. So that's all we got.
Okay.
So we're not, it's no, and we'll hold her right still for next year, but that's not in the cards.
Okay, thank you.
Christos.
Hello, Coach. How are you?
Good.
Great. From your perspective, and if you look back, what is the biggest improvement or the biggest difference of your team this season than last season?
We have more players, and we have more talented players. All due respect, we had last year. We have Liz Cambage and we have Kelsey Plum, and we've added Chelsea Gray. Yes, we lost Caleb McBride and D-Rob, but we've added some insignificant pieces. So I think the overall depth, the quality of the depth that we had great depth last year and the quality depth, but we have more this year. And having Liz back in the thing, I mean, she's a world force in women's basketball. So that's a big positive for us also. So, and Plum's come back on a mission. which, you know, you knew she would. So overall, I think it's just a top to bottom, more depth of talent.
And also, you were one of the maybe the toughest guy of your era as a player. How satisfied you are about the toughness of your team on the floor so far?
I missed the last part. What?
How satisfied you are about the toughness of your players?
How am I satisfied about my players?
About
Their
the
toughness. Their
Oh,
toughness.
I think we're still a work in process. We're not a very overbearing physical team. We're very more skilled than physical. I think, and that's okay. I've never had a team like this one where I played on, or that we're the highest scoring team. We shoot free throws like my teams have never ever shot free throw percentage like we do right now. We still rebound very well. It's one of the hallmarks of my teams, but scoring and free throw percentage and things like that. And I've always been smash mouth, and now I'm run up and down the floor 1,000 miles an hour and look to outscore people.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Coach. We will let you go. Thanks, everybody. We will see you for Zooms tomorrow, where I believe we have our 2 5-on-5 Olympians, and then Sunday, 3 o'clock Pacific time against the Mystics.